If you've ever wondered what psychosis looks like and you've never seen what it looks like when somebody goes through it, let me show you right now, because there's an insane rabbit hole that's going on right now as we speak. So this guy right here, I'll insert the picture of his profile. This guy truly believes that he is the reincarnation of Archangel Michael. He truly believes that. He posted this video right here 14 hours ago at the time of me recording this video. It has 1.5 million views. In that video, he says, this is Archangel Michael here, and he's surrounded by police officers inside the car that he crashed. That car that he crashed was his friend's car. And before he filmed this video, prior to that, I don't know if it was hours or a day or two or minutes, he killed that friend. And if you scroll through his profile, it's very disturbing and sad. This is what psychosis looks like. This guy genuinely believes that he is Archangel Michael. Dealing with someone in psychosis and living with them is insane, and it will mess up your nervous system so incredibly bad. I lived with someone who went through psychosis for 3 years when I was a teenager. Not going to say who. This person's all better now. We're all good. We have a great relationship. They got help and everything, and they've been good ever since. But this person at the time believed that they were the savior of the world. And they quit going to work, quit paying the bills. And I remember getting checked out of school one day and being told, oh yeah, by the way, we're going to lose the house in 2 days because the house note wasn't getting paid. So finally, the day before or the night before the deputies were supposed to show up the next day to confiscate the house, I said, what are you going to do? And this person said, don't worry about it. I will go into the bathroom and myself. And they thought that once they did that the world would shift over into the fourth density or the fourth dimension. And as a teenager, you're still a kid, right? That destroys you, especially when you have been living with this for 3 years. I remember going upstairs and shaking my little sister. She was like 11. I was like, is there anything you can say to this person to possibly stop this from happening, right? She manages to convince this person not to do that. And I just remember going into the bathroom and just putting all my body weight against the door and crying because it was insane. It destroys your nervous system. Now, luckily, this person that I'm referring to, my experience, would have never hurt anybody. Not a fly, nobody other than themselves. The guy that I just showed you, that's the example of why psychosis can be so extremely dangerous, either for your safety or for that person, their own safety, the one going through psychosis. Because I don't know this for a fact. I'm just speculating. I think it's possible his friend that before that video, and he stole the car and crashed it and the police surrounded him. I think it's possible maybe his friend could have questioned his narrative, his story, like, hey, I don't think you're Archangel Michael, and I think you need some help, dude. And that can be super dangerous for somebody going through psychosis. Like I said, I don't know for a fact that's what happened, but I suspect that's what happened. And it unfortunately ended with that friend losing his life. If you've ever...
as that person should have confronted him, like, you're not going to just let somebody sit up here and say, oh, I'm Archangel Michael, and then not press the issue. Like, this is not okay, guys. Now, ultimately, anytime someone says that they are the Archangel Michael or they're Jesus or any type of savior or religious figure, like he said, the person that lived in their house said that they were the savior of the world, and that by offering themselves that the fourth dimension or whatever the heck he said about the fourth dimension, that's always going to be demonic, guys. We use these terms like psychosis to make it more palatable. And anytime that it's speaking of or mentioning anything to do with faith, we want to throw the religious psychosis on there. Now, this guy was not a child of God. So him saying that maybe he could have slightly been, but I don't think so. Nobody is going to come out here saying that they're Archangel Michael and really be a believer. Now, if they do, like I said, it's always going to be a demonic influence. But there's people in the comment section saying it's an actual mental disorder. You can call it whatever you want to. They got to put whatever label they can on to monetize it through pharmakia, because you can't monetize Deliverance. Like setting people free from demonic oppression is free. You don't need to pay for that. So in order for them to make money off it, they call it a mental disorder and try and prescribe you some type of pills or keep you trapped on some type of bondage to some type of pill for the rest of your life. Now they got a lifelong money making machine, right? Now, as I said, you don't have to pay for deliverance, but there are some people out here that charge for deliverance ministries. Don't rock with those people, man. They'll have to answer to God on judgment day for that. But there's a person right here that says, I almost went into religious psychosis because I was going insane about the thought of death. I'm getting better, but it's starting to come back now. Well, what are your thoughts about death? And why would that make you go into a religious psychosis? Why would that, like, I don't understand. There's not enough context. Thinking about death shouldn't have you going into any psychosis. This person says a former friend of mine disappeared off the face of the earth, and I didn't hear from him for almost 10 years. He went into a psychosis and was homeless for a couple years. He wouldn't eat the inside parts of food, like only the outer layer, because he was convinced it was poison. And he was also convinced that the devil laid eggs in his spine. He disappeared and deleted his social media accounts because he was told to. I don't know much more than that, but it's a scary thing. And I hope no one ever has to deal with that or experience it. All of these things right here, all of these comparisons are demonic oppression, guys. Cool. None of this has anything to do with being a Christian. None of this has anything to do with religion, right? Statistically, a person going through psychosis is more of a danger to themselves than anyone else. Violent psychosis is rare and doesn't always involve grandiosity. The violent cases are about 10%, so yes, they still do happen. I'm just concerned that the violent ones get talked about the most. It creates the idea that these people in need of care and compassion are all dangerous monsters. That's just the demonic agenda. Not everybody that is mental or, some type of possessed is going to be violent. However, the people that are violent are always demonic. It's always demonic possession, guys. Religious psychosis is awful. I absolutely hate it. I'm under the belief, guys, that this religious psychosis, these acts of violence that we see are all an attack from Satan, right? To make religion, to make people that follow Jesus look crazy and to scare people out of wanting to become Christian, because look at all these people that have religious psychosis. Look at how many people are snapping and doing weird stuff. That's because they're Christians. You don't want to be a Christian, do you? You don't want to have religious psychosis, do you? You want to be one of them. It's like, that's what the agenda is. And if you ask me, because up 5 years ago, I don't think we had this term. I don't think we had the term religious psychosis. And now you just can't stop hearing it. You hear it all the time, every single day on this app. So that's what I believe. I believe that it's an assignment, that Satan's out here actually convincing people that this is what's going on, when really it's just demonic possession, plain and simple, guys. I know people don't like plain and simple, but that's just what it is sometimes. I went to do outreach yesterday and we were knocking on doors, passing out groceries. And there was a guy in there and he was saying that he is hearing voices, that things were attacking him in his apartment. He would see black figures and shadows going around. He had a Bible open, but when I came in there to pray for him, there was the Holy Scriptures book laying on his couch, the Jehovah's Witness book. And I said, have you been reading that? And I pointed to it and he's like, yeah. I said, bro, that's part of your problem right there. And he's like, I knew it was something wrong with them people when they came in my house. And so I prayed with him. I threw the book away. We did deliverance. We cast out some demons and we kept it pushing, man. But ultimately, guys, everything in life is spiritual. You can't open the door to the enemy and think that nothing spiritual is going to happen. It doesn't work like that, guys. Demons aren't polite. They don't wait for you to offer them to come in, right? They just bogart your life when you open the door to them. So that's my take on this. I'll leave this guy's link in the description. Let me show you his channel. It's Caleb Cooks. I'll share his link in the description to give him credit for his work, as well as to make it easy for you guys to follow him, even if I don't agree with everything he says. But I'll catch you guys on the next one. Until then, God bless.